Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Morag Barrett on the program with a company called Sky Team. And Morag is a sought-after speaker, trainer, founder of Sky Team. 25 years and more experience in senior executive coaching. Delighted to have you on the program today. How are you?
I am well, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, you'll tell from the accent I'm not from Texas, nor am I from Colorado.
Yeah.
Originally from England and happily settled now in Colorado for the last 10 years. The part of history, 15 years in commercial finance. And latterly, I'm passionate about the people side of business. I moved from numbers to the human side of what makes for successful businesses and successful careers.
Very good. When did you leave the old country, as they affectionately refer to it?
The old country I left back in 2005.
Okay. And what part of England were you from, just out of curiosity?
A town called Colchester, which is just north of London, but right on the east coast, and it's where the nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty comes from. It has Roman walls and a castle and a lot of history.
One of those cool protest songs that people today don't realize were protest songs at the time they were made.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. My mom was from Lancashire, and so I spent many summers up in Lancashire growing up as a kid. So very cool. Yeah. So why Colorado? And tell us a little bit about the project.
Well, Colorado, because I used to work for an American telecoms company, and this is where their headquarters were. And when I decided to start Sky Team, we loved Colorado so much that we decided to stay put. So that's the quick history as to why we chose Colorado. It chose us. Great.
How are you guys holding up with this week's weather?
It's insane. We had the biggest thunderstorm that went overhead last night, and we've had rain nonstop. It's almost like English weather here. But thankfully not the flooding that I saw around your neck of the woods.
Yeah, including my own house. But anyway.
I'll send you a sponge or two.
Well, thank you. So tell me about what Sky Team does.
So we are an international leadership and executive development firm. We specialize in helping successful people and teams move to the next level. And we have had the opportunity to work now with more than 3,000 leaders in 20 countries and in every industry and walk of life that you could imagine.
Very interesting. Is there certain verticals that you gravitate towards more so than others?
Yeah, we seem to really connect well with people in the IT, technology, and engineering worlds. I think it's because we have a very pragmatic approach to leadership development, no group hugs and trust falls. And we speak the language of business. But what we find is, especially in those industries, well, in all industries, it doesn't matter how good the widget or service, when goals are missed, when expectations aren't reached, invariably it comes down to a lack of communication or misaligned goals. It's the people stuff that's misdescribed as soft skills that trip us up every single day, and that's what we help to resolve.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand that. So tell us exactly what you do with the company, and how does your engagement with a company typically begin?
Well, invariably we're being brought in by a leader at some level, more often than not at the senior levels, who are saying there's something getting in the way of our success. We don't often work with truly broken teams and companies, but invariably if you're sitting in a meeting and you're drumming your fingers on the table or gnashing your teeth or going home at the end of the day going, I can't believe what happened today, then that's usually a signal that you could do with some external perspective and some support. And that's what we bring. We bring perspective. We bring a language and framework that allows people to get on the same page and either resolve differences if they're there, or at least acknowledge the elephants in the room and move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what invariably is missing. Without that language and framework, it very quickly can deteriorate into, well, you're an idiot, and how daft can you be, and why aren't you just doing what I asked you to do? Which, as you know, just causes a downward spiral that can make things even worse.
Yeah, that kind of morale talk usually doesn't help.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're already self-loathing. I'm going to make you really feel bad. So you talked a little bit about the verticals you operate in. Talk a little bit about the sizes of the companies, the size ranges.
Well, it really does vary because it doesn't matter whether you're like Sky Team, where we have 6 full-time employees, or you're a big international telecom company with 40,000 employees. We can help. And we find ourselves working in companies who are relatively new startup environments to well-established multinational companies with 100 years plus of history. And it's just interesting because it just makes the context in which people are leading and managing and doing their day job just unique. And what we do is then flex our approach and the recommendations so that it can be successful in each of those different environments.
Okay. Let me ask you, so like in terms of a sweet spot, in terms of size range, what would you say that is? Where do you find most of your clients in terms of revenue size?
Yeah, that's good. Multi-millions and into the billions.
So at least mid-market, if not enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be a good description.
And how important is it early on to get the C-level people involved in this? Because it sounds like there's a certain paradigm shift involved.
Well, there is, and I think most of us get it. This isn't rocket science. We know we need to listen more and ask questions and collaborate. But in the heat of the moment, when we're running on our hamster wheel, it's too easy for us to forget, especially on the tough days. It's easy to be a good team member when things are going well and on the good days. But when it starts to hit the fan, when things aren't going to plan, that is when many people will throw out the rule book and say, Kevin, I'm sorry, I didn't call you, I didn't invite you to the meeting, I didn't have time. But the reality is that's when we need to follow the rules even more closely. So the paradigm shift is don't wait till the crisis hits to talk about how are we going to work together and get through this. Set those rules of engagement up front, and then you can put them into practice on the good days and especially on the bad days.
Very interesting. Well, I appreciate your time. What website would you like people to check out for more information?
Well, my website is SkyTeam, S-K-Y-E, team.com. There's information there, but also if they can check out my book, Cultivate the Power of Winning Relationships. It's all about how do you cultivate powerful professional relationships and teams in the workplace.
Very good. Thanks so much for your time. Very much enjoyed it, and look forward to hearing more about what you've got going on. Morag, Barrett, and again, the company is called Sky Team, S-K-Y-E, team.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com, and you're listening to The Price of Business.